Hey, hello, Puppy. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Sorry about I have to change your time because of some work. Okay.
Yes. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
I mean, I'm in the lab. Thanks for helping me out in.
Yeah, not a problem. Bapi,
My
can you introduce yourself a little bit and tell me about your background? I don't have my questions from you, so I'm gonna ask some questions
Yes.
from you.
So I did my masters in chemistry from IIT Bombay, India, and then I did my PhD in material science and physical chemistry from Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, Kolkata. And now I am in Belgium, KU Leuven, working as a postdoctoral scholar in material science and physical chemistry.
And do you know when your postdoc is ending?
Yeah, so for now the current contract is up to November, but yeah, it's a flexible contract. So
Okay.
if I get something, I can shift. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And just one question. How old are you?
I am 31 now.
Are you married? Family?
Yes, I'm married. Yes, I'm married. No children yet. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And your spouse is with you, or she's somewhere else?
She was here. She went back towards the January end, but she might come back.
Okay.
Also.
Is she works also?
Yeah, she is also a PhD, but in plant biology, botany. So
Okay.
yeah, she's also looking for something. Yeah.
So let me ask you: are you guys both planning to look for something in India or somewhere else?
Somewhere else would be preferred, but in India, getting a job in private sector, I think it's quite difficult because there are not much opening as far as I have seen, and the pay and the workload is bit difficult as far as I have seen in Kolkata.
How about academics?
Academics would be nice, but it's difficult to get something. If we get, then obviously we will try something.
Okay, so here is my suggestion to you, Bapi, is so I think you have guessed it very right in terms of the industry jobs. So my experience is very limited to US, and I have done this mentorship from last 5 years, so I can tell you what my experience have been, what people have done, what people have asked, and there are many people who are in your situation. You are not only of them; there are many of them, and many people who have done their PhD in India. What I have seen is for them to get a permanent job outside India in industry is very rare.
Yeah.
In academics is also rare, unless and until they spend quite good amount of time in their postdoc or something. So my suggestion to you, and looking at your CV and everything, is one thing I also will tell you is why your situation is little bit different. See, you have to understand that many people who come from India and do their postdoc and things like that, most of them has an engineering background comparative to yours.
Yes.
So and unfortunately, the situation in India is that if you are applying for an engineering college, they are looking for someone who has a bachelor's or master's in engineering as compared to MSc. So your choices are limited to Department of Sciences.
Yeah, but in India, getting a job is, I think somebody need to push me to get it. In academia, I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I was coming to that next is, so in my opinion, I don't think it's difficult for you to get a job in India. It depends on how you approach, where you apply.
Okay.
See, you have to understand that in India, most of the academic jobs work. Actually, in US also, it's the same in reference that you know someone and he knows someone, and things like that. And
Yes,
I
yes.
think you can always utilize your references at IITs or in your in or from your
PhD.
PhD institutions to do that. That will be your biggest asset.
Yeah.
That will be your biggest asset. Um, I mean, as I remember, I asked you, about your spouse and all that. The reason I'm saying it, it's a two body problem. It's not a one body problem,
Yes, yes.
right? So you have to understand that what is good for you, if it's not good for her, then you have to compromise. And what is good for her, not good for you, then you have to compromise. And are you ready for that? So let's say tomorrow you get something really good opportunity at some place and your wife doesn't get it at all. Are you ready for that? And I'm telling you, the problem is not for you to get an opportunity. The problem is for you both to get an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. But for now, if I only one person get a bit sustainable job, then other person can look around possibly for a few years, maybe.
So here another thing is that you can always go for a second postdoc, but I don't recommend that to people because
Yeah.
again you will be in the same position. It's just you will be delaying the problem rather than finding a solution.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You know what I
Actually.
mean? So for in my opinion, for you the best scenario would be is look for academic jobs in India and look for the references. Your references, use your references to help you out.
Yeah, I have some plan also to use some references from IIT Bombay. But in India, if I want to apply for academics, I need 3-year postdoc experience. So I am at 1.5 years now, so I need 1.5 year more
Correct.
postdoc experience and some publications, more publications, and yeah. But in industry, you are saying that. Yeah, but I have seen few people who to get a job from here, from KU to directly hired by US. They were telling that to keep applying. You might never know if the profile matches perfectly with some company, then they can take you.
Yeah. So when I tell you it's rare, I am not discouraging you, but in my opinion, it's extremely rare.
Yeah, it's really rare. I have never heard of many people.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying it's extremely rare because there are people in US who are not getting the job.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then they have to apply for your visa and things like that. It becomes very, very challenging.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree with you actually. But if I want to approach some industry in Europe, do you have any suggestion of my CV? In which part shall I highlight more for my industrial part of the application in all over Europe? Let's say.
See, I'm telling you, I don't have much idea about Europe, but looking at your CV, I see you have a good background for any companies who are working in the area of semiconductors.
Yeah, but semiconductor is difficult for me also because they prefer physics background, not chemistry. So, and that is also a bit complicated for me.
I mean, as I said, that I don't buy that, but as I said to you, it's not about. So I have one of my friend. Let me tell you a story. I have one of my friend who is in Luxembourg, who did his PhD here, and then his wife got a postdoc there, and she did a postdoc, and he was staying home for last 1 or 2 years because he couldn't find a job, and ultimately he did his MBA now, and now he had a job from his MBA.
So he did an MBA after his PhD in science.
He did his he was an engineer. He has an engineering background, but still he was not able to find a job in Luxembourg, and then he decided to do an MBA. So he did his MBA. He just finished an MBA and found a job. So, as I said, either then in that case you have to diversify yourself.
And he did his MBA from Europe or in India, you know?
No, from Luxembourg.
From Luxembourg. Yeah. Okay.
So that could be another possibility. Don't get too. See, here is I don't know what is your priority. Do you want to have a job, or you are so passionate about research you can't leave it? These are two different things that you have to make a suggestion. But if it comes to the living, and you want a job, then I would say strongly suggest you to diversify.
Yeah, I was also thinking about MBA and
But then you have to
so
pay
do you
out from your pocket. Remember that.
yeah, but I was thinking to do it in India because it's a bit less costly in India, and the cost of living is a bit also less costly in India, like Indian School of Business in Hyderabad.
I mean,
So
it's always a chance to do it. But as I said to you, if you see, always remember if you are doing your education from any place and you are looking to settle down there, then you need to understand that it's a good idea to do your education from that place only.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
No, my question is to you that yeah, do you think MBA can leads to better opportunity?
Oh yeah. I don't think
For
what I think about MBA is MBA makes you qualified for very. So right now, if you look for a job market and you look for a profile, you can only apply for 5 jobs out of 100. If you have an MBA, you are eligible for 50 jobs. It diversify you.
okay,
For
thanks.
example,
Yeah.
if you are applying for a job for a project manager could be in any industry. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, in that case, MBA could come handy in
Yeah.
any of the section you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, thanks.
So MBA could be. I have done my MBA actually. I have done that too. If you look,
Yeah, I have seen your profile in LinkedIn. Your profile is
yeah.
quite extraordinary.
I mean, it's not extraordinary. I just want to do something, and my company was paying that. I didn't finish it completely because I realized that for me, what I'm doing right now, even if I do my MBA, it won't pay too much. So I don't want to put money from my pocket. But
Oh, I see.
there was a time when I was doing my postdoc and I was looking for jobs, and I was like, oh man, if I won't find a job, what will happen and all that. Then I had this in my mind that I may have to do an MBA to become more diversified, or I knew people who did their MBA. Because what happens after MBA, your salary becomes better. And you can, as I said, you can always do an MBA from Europe, from India, or from US. You can always do that.
Yeah, but the 2 year MBA plan is not good at this point. I think 1 year is better. Don't you think so? Or it's same?
This I hear this question a lot. I am wasting my 1 year. Let me tell you this thing, and I will be very blunt about that. If you could have waited for one more year and did your PhD from ISC Bangalore, would you think would be better or wouldn't be that better? So always remember that that's not the point. See, you don't want, as I said, I always say, you don't want to delay your problems. You don't want to say 1 year is not enough, because what happened down the road, you can't change it.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, I'm not saying that 1 year MBA is not bad, 2 year MBA is good. All I'm saying, make a wise decision. Don't be in rush saying that, oh, I want to save my 1 year, because time flies so fast. I mean, think of,
Yes.
you could have done your MBA in last 2 years and you could have be done by now, right?
Yes.
So I don't. So please don't consider the timing. Do the right thing. That's more important.
Yeah, okay.
So here's the thing. There are some MBAs in Europe which can give you MBA in 1 year, and there are some good institutions. If you get into that, good enough, no problem. But what I'm trying to tell you is, don't do a decision in a rush, saying that, oh, I have to do it because I want to do it quickly, or things like that. The idea should be doing the right thing, not doing quickly, or things like that. But definitely in your case, I will say, if I was you, and if I have not started applying in India and getting a response, like for example, if I start applying and I'm not getting any response, and there are people who call me all the time saying that I am not getting any response and things like that. So my answer to them is different. In your case, I would say in next 6 months or so, as soon as you finish your 2 year of postdoc, I will start looking for job in India and try to see what is the response, or at least try to engage people. Because
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't think your profile is bad, and if even if you apply for for assistant professor in some IITs and Department of Chemistry or